Nobody at the school district knows what Grace is actually worth because Grace has $1,800,000. Not inherited, not lucky, no second income, built quietly over 22 years. Today, 10 real signs, not 10 tips, 10 actual patterns. Grace lives every one. And there's a second person in this story. His name is Brad. Same office, same salary, roughly, same 22 years. Very different way of thinking. And if you recognize yourself in any of these, pay close attention, because you might already think like Grace and not even know it. Sign 1. They think in systems, not decisions. The money moves on its own. At 26, Grace set up 3 automatic transfers. Then she never touched them. 22 years later, they still run. The money leaves before she can spend it. $500 a month, automated for 22 years, growing at 7%. That quiet, boring system became $303,000. Brad saved when he could over the same years. That became $23,000. Same income, different system. That's the whole gap. Grace never used willpower once. Sign 2. They see 2 prices for everything, the sticker price and the real one. In 2013, Brad bought a car, $35,000. He loved that car. Grace saw the same car. She saw $35,000, and she saw something else. That same money, growing at 7% for 12 years, becomes $78,000. So the real price of that car wasn't $35,000, it was $78,000. Both numbers are real to Grace. Only one number is real to most people. Sign 3. They only think in what actually lands. The net, not the gross. Last year, Brad got a raise, $6,000. He was thrilled. He posted about it on LinkedIn. $6,000, big feeling, big announcement. But after federal, state, and payroll taxes, that $6,000 often becomes closer to $3,900. That's about $75 a week. Still often just a tank of gas, the point remains clear. When Grace took her current job, she ran the after-tax number before replying. Brad celebrated the offer letter. Grace celebrated the take-home. That's the whole difference. Sign 4. They know 3 numbers by heart. Most people can't name one. Net worth, monthly surplus, and the freedom number. 3 numbers. That's the whole dashboard. Grace has had these written down since she was 26. She updates them every January. The freedom number is the monthly passive income she needs to stop working. For Grace, that number is $4,200 a month. She hit it at 47, 1 full year ahead of her own schedule. Brad does not know his net worth, not roughly, not even the direction. Sign 5. They give every dollar a job before it even arrives. By the time Grace's paycheck lands, the 3 big decisions are already made. The discretionary money is whatever's left. She lives on the remainder, not the total. One of those decisions, $200 a month into a leftover account. $200, 22 years, 7%, money most people would have just spent. That leftover became $121,200 from the money that slips through most people's fingers without them ever noticing. If this is the kind of money talk that helps, subscribe and like this. Sign 6. They are comfortable being boring. Deeply, unglamorously, wonderfully boring. Grace's car is 11 years old, paid off. She drives it to work every day. It's the same car she drove when she made $30,000 less. Brad leases a new one, $897 a month. Over 11 years, that lease costs him $118,000. Grace's paid-off car costs her $0, and that gap compounds, quietly. That car gap, invested instead at 7%, becomes $174,000. Brad drove a nicer car. Grace drove toward a life without a job. Sign 7. They sort every expense into exactly 2 categories, building or spending. 2 words, every dollar. No third category. No, I'll figure it out later. No, this one doesn't count. No, just this once. Building or spending. That's it. Brad's expenses live in a fog, some vague middle where he never looks. Grace's system is 2 words. That simplicity is the entire power of it. Sign 8. They never talk about money. Not one person at Grace's office knows. Not her closest coworker. Not the woman she's had lunch with for 9 years. She doesn't discuss it, not because she's hiding it. It just never comes up. Brad talks money constantly. His mortgage, his rates, his raise, his next big thing. Brad has $23,000 saved. He talks about money all day. Grace has $1.8 million. She doesn't say a single word about it. Sign 9. They think in decades, not months. Grace does not react to headlines. When the news is bad, she doesn't check her balance. She doesn't panic sell. She set her direction at 26. The direction has not changed since. She's 48 now, 22 years of compounding already running underneath her. 8 years left to her original target. She's already past the tipping point. Past the point where the money does most of the work. The plan runs itself. Sign 10. They made their money decisions once, then they never remade them. The same 3 decisions Grace made at 26 still run automatically today. No willpower, no discipline, she decided once. The system decides every month. Brad makes about 300 money decisions a month. Small ones, constant ones. Grace makes 3, and she made those 3 22 years ago. The fewer decisions you make, the fewer bad ones you make. That's the math. Now here's the layer most finance advice skips completely. It isn't about the money. Standard advice says, budget, save, invest. All technically correct. Here's what it misses. Grace didn't choose a financial strategy. She chose a financial identity. She is not someone who buys things to impress people. Full stop. That's decided. James Clear wrote that habits stick when they match who you believe you are. Once the identity is set, every decision becomes automatic. No willpower needed. Brad fights a willpower battle every month. Grace fought hers once at 26. But this path has a real cost. And it isn't the car. It's quieter than that. Friday happy hour. The whole team crowded into the bar, laughing over shared appetizer plates. Grace was there, one drink, near the edge, present but not fully inside the moment. Nobody excluded her. She just wasn't buying the next round of shots. Small distance. For years, that gap ached a little. She wondered if she was missing life. She made peace with that. But it took a while. It took a real while. Monday, the break room at the Denver School District office. Lunchtime. Fluorescent hum overhead. Grace ate from her brown paper bag. Same sandwich, same apple, same as always. Brad sat across from her, expensive coffee tumbler in hand, talking about the economy. His mortgage payment had jumped again. Rates. Inflation. Everything felt tight. He kept talking. Then he trailed off, looked at Grace across the table, something quieter in his face. "Are you worried?" he asked. "About retirement, I mean." The vending machine hummed behind them. Grace set down her sandwich. 1 second passed. "Not particularly," she said. That was all. Brad nodded slowly. He assumed she hadn't thought about it, or was quietly avoiding it. Here is what Brad did not know. Grace had $1,800,000. Built quietly, over 22 years, from a paycheck smaller than his. She never mentioned it. She wasn't avoiding the question. She had answered it years ago, one decision at a time. Brad sighed and looked back at his phone, back to his mortgage, back to the worry. Grace picked her sandwich back up. "Hey, did you catch the game last night?" This was never really about the money. It was about what the money bought her. Income buys options. Obligations spend them. Every payment Brad added quietly spent his own freedom. Every day you do not inflate your life, you buy something better than stuff. Time. The option to leave. The option to say no. The option to stop at 54. Brad will likely work until 67. Grace could stop tomorrow. Neither of them earned differently. 10 signs. All 10. Grace lived, not as tricks, but as who she was. Buy quietly. Skip the payment. Watch the gap. Never impress strangers. Decide who you are. Which of these 10 do you already do? Drop the number in the comments below.